Meng Shu, the eldest daughter of the British government, is a beautiful woman known throughout the capital and has many admirers. However, unfortunately, Meng has a master of fame and fortune. Since childhood, she has been married to the Crown Prince of Chengguo, Wei Qingyun, who is of a matching family background, and is only waiting to get married. Meng Shu always thought that Wei Qingyun had a deep affection for her, but on her wedding day, she was betrayed. She took a group of people to catch the adultery, caught the dog man who was having an affair with her cousin, beat him up, and then withdrew from the marriage. Withdrawal on the day of the wedding was unprecedented in the Zhou dynasty. Everyone thought she was going to die alone, but there were many people who wanted to marry her. Shen Gongzi went to the door to propose marriage despite public opinion. A certain Shangshu wanted to marry her as a continuation string, and even the Wei king's lecherous embryo wanted to intervene and threatened to marry her as a concubine. The whole capital is waiting to see how she ends. The emperor issued a decree, appointing her as the empress, which shocked everyone's jaws. The whole world knows that His Majesty in the palace is weak and likes to take pills, and his power is on the sidelines. He will live in less than 2 years, waiting for his death and the succession of the king of Wei. After entering the palace, Meng Shu realized that the emperor's servant had deceived everyone. It's simply even more impressive than the actors in Yinchun Tower. She needs someone to help her weak in the daytime, but when it gets dark, she keeps pestering her. Gong Do knew that His Majesty was powerless to please his concubine, but Meng Shu's belly grew bigger day by day. Meng Shu angrily grabbed someone's ear and said, "What should we do now? No time travel, no rebirth, no golden finger, mind entering with caution." Chapter 1. What should a daughter.in.law like this do? You are listening at novelfull.audio. May 18th is a rare and auspicious day for weddings, prayers, travel, and entering homes. Meng Shu, the eldest daughter of the British government, got married today to the Crown Prince Wei Qingyun of the Chengguo government, making her a perfect match. The two mansions are not far apart, and Meng Shu's bridal sedan chair is almost at the entrance of the Chengguo mansion. The Meng family's wedding procession was the last one to leave the entrance of the British mansion. The entire wedding procession is very long, with 10 miles of red makeup, envious of others. A few miles along the way, surrounded by people watching the excitement. Today, it was not the groom Wei Qingyun who went to the Meng family to welcome the bride, but his younger brother Wei Qinghong. Whispers came from the crowd. I heard that Prince Wei had contracted a cold wind, so he invited his younger brother to greet him on his behalf. Getting married is a big deal, and the auspicious date has been set and cannot be postponed. That's all we can do. On a day of great joy, he fell ill. How weak is this Crown Prince Wei? He is a military general, strong and healthy, but when a person eats grains and miscellaneous grains, how can he not get sick? As a military general, I am so sick that I cannot personally welcome the wedding. I'm afraid it's an emergency. Meng Shu frowned slightly as she sat in the sedan chair. She has been practicing martial arts since she was young, and her ears and eyes are clear. The voices of people talking about it are not small, so it naturally falls into her ears. She returned to the capital 3 months ago from the border to be married, accompanied by her elders, and met Wei Qingyun once. The folk customs of the Zhou dynasty were more civilized, and there were not as many restrictions on women as in the previous dynasty. In addition, with the accompaniment of elders, meeting their unmarried husband was not considered out of character. That Wei Qingyun has a tall and burly figure, walks steadily, has a long breath, and excellent spirit. At first glance, he is a skilled practitioner. Even if someone is sick, they won't be unable to get up. Meng Shu herself was also a martial arts practitioner, strong and physically fit. Even if she had a headache and a fever, she quickly recovered. Not to mention my father and brothers, even if they get sick, they can still stand up and go to the military camp for inspection. Is Wei Qingyun really unable to get up, or doesn't he want to personally welcome her through the door? Based on the family background and friendship between the two families, theoretically, it shouldn't be like this. What exactly happened? Meng Shu was thinking that the sedan chair had already arrived at the entrance of Chengguo Mansion. Accompanied by the landing of the sedan chair, Meng Yanqing's voice rang out, with an uncontrollable anger in his words. What do you mean by the Chengguo Mansion? It's too much to ask Wei Qingyun to greet the bride on behalf of the elder brother. At this moment, someone is holding a rooster to come out and welcome the bride into the inner hall. It's really deceiving people. Wei Qingyun is sick, not angry, unable to welcome the bride, unable to worship the hall. He is so weak. Wei Qingyun is a martial arts practitioner. Even if he gets sick, he shouldn't be unable to get up, right, said Meng Yanqing, the second son standing on the side. Two wise nephews, calm down. Qingyun suddenly fell ill last night, suspected to be suffering from an epidemic. He is usually in good health, and the imperial physician said that he can recover after more than 10 days of cultivation. Staying in the mansion may not be enough for guests. Today, at dawn, his elder brother ordered someone to send him to another hospital in the suburbs of Beijing for recuperation. Today's action is really helpless, and we hope the British government can forgive him. The second old man, Wei Mingyi, personally explained, keeping his posture low. Meng Yanqing and Meng Yanqing exchanged a glance upon hearing the words, both seeing anger in each other's eyes. They only have Meng Shu as their younger sister, and of course, they hope that her sister can marry a successful husband, follow her husband and wife, and have a stable and smooth life. Wei Qingyun's body is extremely infected with evil, and he is also suspected of having an epidemic. If she can't be cured and ends up dead, wouldn't that younger sister marry into widowhood? Their Meng family is a family of military generals and does not have as many rules. Marrying a girl as a widow is something that other families would do for the sake of reputation and the future of the family. It is highly likely that the Meng family would not be able to do so. The British government has the strength and confidence to protect the girl. Someone, hurry back to the mansion and report this matter to the Duke and Madam of the country. Please let the two elders make a decision. Meng Yanqing turned his head and instructed the attendants beside him. Big brother, let me go. Meng Yanqing, the third prince who was riding a horse and following on the side, hurriedly said, I will personally go back to the mansion and report this matter to my uncle and aunt. A few wise nephews, today is a day of great joy. The bridal sedan chair has arrived at the entrance of our Chengguo mansion. Even if it is reported to the Duke of England, it is impossible to repent. The auspicious time cannot be delayed. It is better to invite the bride to get off the sedan chair and enter the inner hall for worship first. Wei Mingyi smiled very gently, but in fact, it was a threat to the Meng family. This marriage was arranged over a decade ago as a child marriage. Both are the prefectures of the state and prestigious families in the capital. Regret marriage. Don't even think about it, no one can afford to lose this person. On such a joyful day today, once the marriage is put to an end, it means that the two families have formed a feud. As long as the Meng family still has a trace of rationality, they will not do such a wrong thing. He heard that the Meng family doted on Meng Shu, the eldest daughter. However, no matter how much one dotes on them, they won't be enemies of the Chengguo mansion just for the sake of one daughter. Which is more important or less important than the interests of the daughter and the family? It's obvious. Meng Shu in the sedan chair put down the fan that covered her face, her beautiful eyes carrying a hint of coldness. The Wei family firmly believed that no matter what happened, the Meng family would never regret their marriage and bully others like this. It's okay if you can't come to welcome the wedding, even the chapel has to be replaced by someone holding a rooster. When Meng Shu heard people talk about this absurd thing, she thought it was fabricated in a play, but she never expected it to happen to her today. Listening to several older brothers arguing with the Wei family, a fight was about to break out, and Meng Shu couldn't continue to endure. Big brother, please go back to the mansion and report this matter to your father, let him make the decision. Meng Shu's voice came from the sedan chair, pleasant and melodious. Meng Yanqing nodded at the words and glanced at Meng Yankong beside him. Meng Yankong immediately mounted his horse and rushed towards the direction where the British government was located. The onlookers on the road quickly called for their debut. Wei Mingyi couldn't help but sneer when he saw the queen. The girl from the Meng family is really like a rumor, she has an idea. This kind of thing, she dares to get involved as a girl, which shows how much the Meng family dotes on her. Even if you are spoiled, you still have to get married. When you come to your husband's house, you have to follow his family's rules. Their old lady said that Meng Shu grew up in a wilderness at the border and had no rules. When she married into their Wei family, she must be well disciplined. Go and report to the old lady and the duke. Wei Mingyi turned his head and instructed the servant beside him. The person who married today is the legitimate son of the eldest brother's family, not his son. Even if it was a bit embarrassing, it was Wei Qingyun, that stinky kid, who caused it himself. As an uncle, he was able to come out and help round the lie, which was already the end of his life. At the same time, in the main courtyard of the Wei mansion, Lady Liang of Chengguo was so anxious that she stomped her feet. Seeing the maid running into the yard, she hurriedly said, "Have you found Qingyun?" The maid shook her head and said, "The people who were sent out to find the crown prince have searched all the places he often goes to, but have not seen the crown prince." Miss Meng refused to enter the mansion to pay respects. The duke sent someone to deliver a message, asking Madame to move to the entrance of the mansion and personally advise Miss Meng. After hearing the maid's words, Liang trembled with anger and said, "The duke of the country asked me, who is a mother-in-law, to put down my body and invite her. Isn't this hitting my face?" Meng Shu, that dead maid, acted like a demon before entering the door. What is this daughter-in-law doing? Chapter 2. Not getting married. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liang stormed out in anger, intending to argue with her husband. However, as soon as she arrived at Shitong, she saw the butler in the mansion stumbling and running in. Guogongya, it's not good anymore. The Meng family's wedding procession is about to return. Miss Meng won't marry anymore. Impossible. Liang couldn't help but shout, her voice a bit sharp and piercing. The old lady glared fiercely at her daughter-in-law, causing Liang's neck to shrink in fear. She quickly hid behind Duke Qingmingtao. After seeing her, the old lady's face became increasingly ugly. She came from a small family and couldn't make it to the stage. A girl's family, at this critical moment, says that if she doesn't get married, she won't get married. Is it difficult for her to want to never get married, or twist her hair to become an aunt in a nunnery? Master, you know that Qingyun child is the most stable. He must have a reason for not returning when he goes out. Perhaps he will come back in a while. But it's the dead girl from the Meng family who clearly shows that she's manipulating us. I don't believe she's really not getting married, but I just want us to be submissive and personally invite her into the mansion." Liang grabbed Wei Mingtao's sleeve and boldly said. She really did this. As a mother-in-law, how can she make her daughter-in-law establish rules in the future? You can't start with this. They are all good sons you raised. Even on such a crucial day of getting married, they dare to sneak out of the mansion without telling us and never return. Damn it, I don't think he wants the position of crown prince anymore. Wei Mingtao pushed Liang away and walked out with a dark face. Who would have thought that my son, who has always been capable and steady, would disappear at this critical moment? It's really annoying. Master, where are you going? Liang's heart panicked and quickly chased after him. At the entrance of Chengguo Mansion, Meng Yanqing's face was very ugly. The Wei family is really deceiving others too much. Green Willow Hutong. Raised an outer room. Drank a few more cups. Stayed over there. After hearing the report from the maid Su Yi, Meng Shu clenched the mandarin duck fan in her hand. Miss, that outer room is his cousin. She grew up with childhood sweethearts and Prince Wei placed her in the Green Willow Alley 3 days ago. Su Ye's voice trembled as she spoke, not afraid, but angry. Miss is so kind, how dare uncle treat her like this? Before the young lady passed by, he took care of the extramarital affairs. On such a happy day as getting married, he went to hang out with the extramarital affairs and forgot about welcoming and paying respects. How could such an uncle be good to the young lady in the future? I'm afraid they only care about that cousin at the tip of their heart. Big brother, Wei Qingyun has humiliated our Meng family so much. Let's call this marriage an end. Meng Shu's voice came from the sedan chair. After such an incident, she cannot marry Wei Qingyun again. Her parents would never let her marry either. As soon as Wei Mingtao and Liang came out, they heard what Meng Shu was saying. Liang was furious and walked quickly to the bridal sedan chair, raising his voice and saying, "Sure, Qingyun is too sick to get up and cannot pay respects to you. It has indeed wronged you, but there is no intention of humiliating the British government. As his unmarried wife, you should also understand that marriage is a big deal, and the words of a matchmaker ordered by parents are not something you can refuse to marry." Liang snorted coldly and said, "You grew up on the border and don't know the rules in the capital. This daughter's family is regretting their marriage, which is a big mistake. It will affect the reputation of the entire family of women. In the future, the women of your Meng family will be laughed at and looked down upon when they go out. Not only will you go to the temple to twist your hair and become an aunt yourself, but those of your cousins may also not be able to get married." Liang suddenly smiled and said, "A place like Yun City at the border is only considered a barren land. If you grew up there, it doesn't matter if you don't understand these things. When you pass the door, as a mother-in-law, I will teach you well. You can get off the sedan chair and enter the hall to pay respects. This dead girl has been engaged to her family Qingyun for more than 10 years, with 3 books and 6 betroths. The bridal sedan chair has arrived at the entrance of Chengguo Mansion. How could she not marry? Does she still want fame? Even for the sake of the Meng family, Meng Shu must enter the gate of their Wei mansion today." The master said that Meng Shu has a strong and resolute personality, and asked her to persuade her with kind words. However, Liang felt that it was not necessary. As long as she explained the pros and cons clearly, Meng Shu would definitely accept it. As a mother-in-law, there is no reason to publicly ask for a daughter-in-law. She's just a girl's family, can she still turn things around? Get off the sedan chair. Meng Shu's voice came out, clear and pleasant to the ear. Liang's face showed a hint of pride. What about the legitimate daughter of the Duke's mansion? I still have to give in. The legitimate daughter of a noble family does not live for herself alone. She must consider the reputation and interests of the family, otherwise she will only become an abandoned child. Qinghong, bring the rooster over and welcome the new lady into the mansion to worship. Liang ordered with a smile. After hearing this, Meng Yanqing suddenly became a bit anxious and wanted to step forward to stop it. Wei Qingyun did such a despicable act, humiliated the Meng family, and clearly did not take his younger sister seriously. Such a man cannot marry. Before he could speak, Meng Shu had already lifted the curtain of the sedan chair and came out. When a woman from the great Zhou dynasty got married, she covered her face with a fan. At this moment, Meng Shu slightly lowered her hand, removed the fan, and revealed a face that was extremely bright and beautiful. She has a graceful figure, dressed in luxurious wedding attire, with a dignified demeanor and unparalleled elegance. You. How unreasonable. Liang Shi saw that Meng Shu had not yet paid her respects, so she put down her fan in public and trembled with anger. My son is really unlucky. He married such a dead girl who doesn't understand the rules. What about the legitimate daughter of the government? Those crude warriors of the Meng family really don't know how to teach children. Madam has the time to teach me a lesson as an outsider. It's better to put in more effort on the young master. Today is such an important day, but he is busy accompanying the concubine and has not taken my British mansion seriously or taken this marriage seriously. My daughter from the Meng family would definitely not dare to marry someone with such bad morals. Meng Shu smiled on her face, but her tone was cold. These aristocratic families in the capital attach great importance to their face. If it weren't for Wei Qingyun and the Liang family bullying others too much, Meng Shu wouldn't have wanted to tear her face in public. My son made a big mistake, and as a mother, she is still so aggressive. With her temper, if she doesn't fight back, she will definitely not be able to sleep today. You're talking nonsense. Our Qingyun family is clearly sick. What outer room? It's so bloody, Liang said with wide eyes. She doesn't believe her son will have an extramarital affair. The 6th courtyard of Green Willow Hutong, if you don't believe it, go confirm it yourself. Meng Shu finished speaking and was about to return to the sedan chair, but was grabbed by Liang's arm. My son would never do such a thing. Your slanderous behavior is nothing more than a desire to regret marriage. Madam. Before Liang could finish speaking, Wei Mingtao interrupted her. He also did not believe that his son, who had always been sensible and steady, would do such a thing that disregarded the interests of the family. But the Meng family said they have a nose and eyes, and they need to send someone to confirm as soon as possible, instead of pestering the girl at the entrance of the mansion. This will only make them even more embarrassed to become the government. Chapter 3. She wants to divorce. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He met the British Duke Meng Huayan from a young age and went to the battlefield together to kill enemies. They were close friends of life and death, which is why they decided to marry their children. Today's situation is like this: no matter what the outcome is, this marriage cannot be formed. We can no longer hold grudges for this. Madam is impatient. If we continue, it will be irreparable. Master, you know Qingyun's character. He has excellent character, is particularly upright, and has great expectations for this marriage. It is absolutely impossible for him to have an extramarital affair. They must have mistaken the person. I cannot let these people pour dirty water on his son, let them tarnish the reputation of our Chengguo mansion, said Liang anxiously. Meng Shu, the daughter-in-law, is definitely not going to take her anymore. The two families have already torn apart, and of course she cannot let her son bear such a reputation. With so many people watching, it won't be long before this matter spreads throughout the capital. How can a person with moral integrity become a prince of the government? Which noblewoman in the future dares to marry her son? Let's go and take a look together. Anyway, the Green Willow Hutong is not too far from here, and it can be there in 2/4 of an hour. If my Meng family wrongs him, the Duke and I will personally come to apologize and give you an explanation. Lu's voice came from behind. Meng Shu's face showed a smile as her father and mother arrived. Next, just leave everything to the second elder. We must withdraw from this marriage. She would rather never marry for life than marry such a jerk, unable to lift her head for the rest of her life. If she marries, not only she, but also their Meng family will become the laughing stock of the entire capital. Meng Xiandi, why bother with this? Why not? Wei Mingtao quickly spoke. Before he could finish speaking, Meng Huayan said, Brother Wei, my sister-in-law has a point. Qingyun is a good child, perhaps because our servants of the Meng family have a bad eye and looked wrong. Let's go to Green Willow Hutong together. If my Meng family is wrong, I will come to apologize. If my virtuous nephew really has an extramarital affair in Green Willow Hutong, not only will this marriage be terminated, but Brother Wei must also give us an explanation. Marriage in a noble family is not only based on social status, but also on personal character. A daughter's family has a good reputation in order to marry a descendant of a prestigious family. Similarly, the children of aristocratic families also need to have good character in order to marry the legitimate daughter of a high family. If one takes a concubine before getting married, such a playboy will not marry his daughter to any wealthy family who wants to have a good face. Not to mention the external room. No family who values their daughters would choose such a person as their son.in.law. In Meng Huayan's heart, his daughter Meng Shu was the best girl in the world. He married his daughter to the Wei family to enjoy happiness, not to suffer. Wei Qingyun engaged in such brute behavior, and the Liang family had no way to teach his son. They did not know how to meditate and dared to teach his daughter a lesson in public. Such a family, of course, cannot marry. With the order of Wei Mingtao, many people from Chengguo mansion took carriages to Green Willow Hut Hong. The Meng family naturally followed suit. Including Meng Shu dressed as a newlywed bride. She was supported by a maid and got into her mother Lu's carriage. This matter was witnessed by the guards next to your father with his own eyes, absolutely not wrong. Your father has already sent people to surround the courtyard, and even if Wei Qingyun has wings, he cannot fly out. The Wei family is not afraid of losing face, so there is no need to show them face. Lu's face was full of anger. She is just such a precious daughter, and on the day of her wedding, she was humiliated like this. It's really infuriating. Your grandmother said, if this marriage is abandoned, our Meng family will never marry our daughter to someone with such bad morals. Lu Shi said, holding her daughter's hand and saying, it's just that you've suffered a lot. You'll definitely be laughed at. In the future, when it comes to matchmaking, it's probably not going to go too smoothly. This world is very unfair to women. Although it was the beast Wei Qingyun who was clearly wrong, her daughter was implicated. In the eyes of the world, withdrawing from marriage is not a glorious thing. Moreover, my daughter is getting married today. Stepping out on the day of the wedding is bound to be ridiculed. Those with shallow eyelids will definitely say that their daughter is unlucky. As soon as Lu thought of these, her chest became severely blocked. Don't worry, mother. My daughter won't care about those rumors, it's just that. There are still a few unmarried sisters in the mansion. If it's because of this. Before Meng Shu could finish speaking, Lu Shi lightly patted the back of her hand and said in a soft voice, you don't have to worry about this. We are at least the Duke's mansion and have a good family background. If there are many people who want to marry our daughter from the Meng family, the girls in our mansion won't worry about getting married. If those aristocratic families mind this matter and refuse to get married, it's because they themselves don't have eyes. Lu smiled and said, anyway, there are still quite a few aristocratic families who have made good friends with our Meng family. Wanner has already been engaged, and Yenner and Sienner will definitely marry a good family. You don't have to worry. Meng Shu nodded at the words. If it weren't for the reputation of the female family in the mansion, relying on her temper, I would have torn my face long ago. Whether it was Wei Qingyun's actions today or the harshness of the Liang family, they all made her very disgusted. Fortunately, the heavens had eyes, and at this critical moment, she was able to see clearly the personalities of the mother and son. If you are 1 or 2 days late and have already married, it will take a lot of effort to get out of this fire pit. Although the Liang family comes from a small family background, they are also kind-hearted. A few years ago, when we went back to the capital to visit, she brought Wei Qingyun to visit us and smiled like a flower. I thought she would be a kind mother-in-law, but I didn't expect it to be like this. There was also Wei Qingyun, who looked very upright, but inside she was rotten, said Lu, shaking her head. You really know people, face but heart. The Liang family is the stepmother of Wei Mingtao and comes from a humble background. However, she was known for her beauty when she was young, otherwise as a daughter of a 6th-rank official, she would not have been able to enter the gates of the Chengguo mansion. It was also her good luck that Wei Mingtao's wife with hair tied was in poor health, so she passed away without leaving any blood. Liang gave birth to Wei Qingyun over a year after entering the family. Although Wei Qingyun ranked 3rd, he was his legitimate son, so he was granted the title of Crown Prince at a young age. In the event of such an event today, his position as the crown prince may be difficult to secure. When Wei Qingyun was pulled up from the bed in Green Willow Hutong, he was completely bewildered. He remembered entering the house and smelling a strange fragrance, and then his whole body became hot and dry, and everything became uncontrollable. Liang Shuang'er was wrapped in a blanket, crying uncontrollably. Liang couldn't bear to hit her son, so she slapped Liang Shuang'er in the face and began to curse angrily, "You shameless little slut. Can Qingyun be someone you can collude with? I have raised you for many years, but unexpectedly, I raised a white-eyed wolf. You destroyed Qingyun, you black-hearted slut. Mother, calm down." Wei Qingyun didn't want to make things too ugly and quickly reached out to stop her. Seeing that it was getting late outside, Wei Qingyun said anxiously, "Mother, this matter is not what you think. My son will explain it to you later. Please go to the outside room for a while, let my son tidy up and return to the mansion immediately. Don't miss the wedding ceremony." Upon hearing this, Liang trembled all over and said, "Big marriage? What kind of big marriage? The Meng family is outside and wants to divorce you." Chapter 4. He refuses to agree. You are listening at novelfull.audio. My son's personal morality has been compromised, and he was caught in a trap. How could the Meng family possibly marry their daughter to him? It's just a dream. Liang herself was almost furious, and she never dreamed that her son would really do such shameless things. If this matter spreads, the Chengguo mansion will become a laughing stock in the entire capital city. She, as the duchess of the country, has no face going out. Those aristocratic ladies who look down on her from a low background will definitely look down on her even more in the future. At the thought of this, the Liang family was on the verge of collapse. Withdrawal. Wei Qingyun's face instantly turned pale, and he didn't care too much anymore. He quickly grabbed his clothes and put them on his body. Liang gave him a fierce glance and took the maid out. "Cousin." Liang Shuang'er pitifully grabbed Wei Qingyun's arm, but was pushed away by him. He's not stupid. The incense in Liang Shuang'er's room must be problematic. But this is not the time to worry about this matter, he needs to go out quickly to meet Meng Shu. This marriage cannot be withdrawn. "Cousin, I didn't prescribe medicine for you. I'm wronged, cousin." Liang Shuang'er cried tearfully. Wei Qingyun ignored her and wanted to explain to Meng Shu. In the courtyard, Meng Shu is comforting the Lu family. "Mother, don't be angry. As long as we step down, no matter what Wei Qingyun does, it has nothing to do with us. For an insignificant person, getting angry is not worth it." After a moment, Wei Qingyun came out. Wei Mingtao angrily kicked over, but Wei Qingyun did not hide. He was kicked in the leg by Wei Mingtao and stumbled, then knelt down on the ground and said, "My son is wrong, please punish him." "Bastard, why don't you go and apologize to your father.in.law and mother.in.law?" Wei Mingtao knew his son didn't want to withdraw, so he quickly gave him a wink. "Father-in-law." Wei Qingyun stood up and knelt in front of Meng Huayan. Before he could finish speaking, Meng Huayan interrupted him, "You and your daughter have not yet paid respects, so we cannot be considered husband and wife. I am not your father.in.law either. Let's call this marriage a day. Father-in-law, please calm down. My son.in.law did not intentionally make a mistake, but was drugged. Please give him a chance to reform. He will definitely love Chong Shuer well in the future and will not let her suffer any injustice." Wei Qingyun looked sincere. He certainly wants to marry Meng Shu. Since childhood, he knew that he would marry the eldest daughter of the Meng family when he grew up. Meng Shu grew up at the border and only visited the capital a few times in the past decade. They only met a few times. But Wei Qingyun always kept Meng Shu in his heart, especially during the meeting 3 months ago. Her beauty was like the scorching sun, as if igniting his entire being. He also grew increasingly fond of Meng Shu. After returning to the mansion that day, he, who had always been steady, couldn't close his mouth with joy, grateful that the woman he wanted to marry was the person he admired. In the past 2 months, he often dreamed of Meng Shu and imagined the beautiful days after they became married. No matter what, he will not withdraw. My son-in-law has made a big mistake. You can punish him no matter what. I just asked my father-in-law to marry Shu'er to my son-in-law, Wei Qingyun said while kowtowing. Meng Shu on the side felt extremely nauseous as she listened to him whispering one by one. Even though he stayed here today to hang out with that woman and was drugged, what about before? The person sent by father has already investigated everything. That Liang Shuang'er is the daughter of Uncle Wei Qingyun. Although Liang Shuang'er was born out of wedlock, she was well-behaved and sensible. In addition, she looked very similar to the Liang family, and the Liang family loved this niece very much. Upon learning that Liang Shuang'er was being treated harshly by her stepmother, she was taken over by her own side and raised for 8 years. Wei Qingyun and Liang Shuang'er are cousins who grew up with childhood sweethearts. They had a skin-to-skin relationship 2 months ago, and Liang Shuang'er had been causing a lot of trouble. Wei Qingyun was afraid that the situation would be exposed, so he bought this small courtyard and placed the person here. Meng Shu really didn't know where his face came from, shouting injustice. Even if he is being calculated today, it is an undeniable fact that he is keeping an outer room. Meng Xiandi, the engagement between our 2 children was made 10 years ago, with 3 books and 6 engagements. We only need to pay respects to become husband and wife. Qingyun is my son, and I know him well. He was tricked today. Someone deliberately tripped us up and didn't want our 2 families to get married. We can't fall for it. Wei Mingtao lowered his stance and said, "Today is indeed Qingyun's fault, and it's also because I have no way to teach him. Meng Xiandi can punish him no matter what. I just hope that Meng Xiandi can see from our years of friendship and let them go back to the Chengguo mansion to pay respects and get married. I can assure Meng Xiandi that Qingyun will never take a concubine in the future and will definitely treat Shu'er well. If he dares to do something that is not good to Shu'er, as a father, I cannot spare him for being the first." The Liang family on the side turned pale upon hearing this. I can't take concubines. If Meng Shu doesn't have a son, wouldn't Qingyun from her family be extinct? However, she didn't dare to say much and could only be anxious in her heart. Meng Huayan didn't take Wei Mingtao's words seriously at all. If my daughter gets married, that will be the Wei family. As a father, he cannot interfere too much. Will Wei Qingyun still be able to come and chop people off when he has done something wrong to his daughter? If he tolerates today's situation and marries his daughter, they will only feel that they are easy to bully and handle, and they will never take their daughter seriously. This marriage must be abandoned. Even though Wei Qingyun was being calculated today, it is an undeniable fact that he has an affair with his cousin. Let's get together and part ways. We are good brothers, so don't let this hurt our brotherhood, Meng Huayan said calmly. If the Wei family keeps pestering, then don't blame him for turning his back. Upon hearing his words, Wei Mingtao knew that there was no room for a turnaround in this matter. Although he felt regretful in his heart, he could only do so. Who let his son do such a foolish thing? Keeping an outer room, fortunately this kid can think of it. He's really audacious. Even as a father, he has never done such a scumbag. He has ruined the faces of their Wei family. Without further delay, we will return the marriage proposal, engagement letter, gift letter, and welcome letter for our 2 children today. The engagement letter will also be returned to the Chengguo mansion by our Meng family later. Meng Huayan directly made a decision to avoid long dreams at night. No. Wei Qingyun, who was kneeling on the ground, became anxious and quickly said, "Shu'er and I are in a good relationship. Please give my father-in-law another chance, and he will handle this matter properly. He will definitely treat Shu'er well in the future." Meng Shu heard the 4 words, mutual love, and wished she could come forward and beat someone up. When did she fall in love with this shameless filth? It's simply insulting. Don't talk nonsense. Although I have arranged a marriage with you, I have always followed the protocol. Last time we met, we were accompanied by elders, and I didn't even say a word to you. How could two lovers be happy? Meng Shu's eyes were full of coldness. If this word gets out, she won't think of getting married in the future. Which man wants to marry a woman who is in love with other men? This Wei Qingyun has really poor character. She is about to withdraw from the marriage and wants to tarnish her reputation. No wonder he did such a dirty thing today. It's really not a good thing. Brother Wei, if I hear such words among the people around me in the future, then don't blame me for bringing a knife to the door. Meng Huayan was also furious. He used to think that Wei Qingyun was good and worthy of his daughter, but now all he had left was disgust and disdain. Meng Xiandi, calm down, Qingyun. Wei Mingtao quickly explained. Wei Qingyun couldn't help but say, sure, we have 3 books and 6 appointments. Although we have not paid our respects, according to the etiquette, you are my wife who has not yet passed the door. What happened today is not my fault. Don't worry, I will send Liang Shuang'er away. From now on, we. Before Wei Qingyun could finish speaking, Meng Shu interrupted him. I haven't entered the Wei family yet, so I can't be counted as your Wei family. Is it necessary to see an official for the Crown Prince Wei to be so entangled? Chapter 5. Fists and Kicks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wei Qingyun was taken aback at the words. She actually wants to see an official, really not caring about any old feelings. He was about to speak when his mother Liang's voice could already be heard in his ear. Qingyun, it's your fault today. Let's call it a day for this marriage. My son has already knelt down to apologize and begged hard. The Meng family still wants to withdraw from the marriage, so let's withdraw. Liang couldn't bear to see his son suffer such injustice. Especially Meng Shu's words just now made it clear that she despised her son. That dead girl even threatened Qingyun to go see the official. She's like a poisonous woman. In Liang's heart, of course, his son is always good. It must be Liang Shuang'er, that little slut, who calculated on him. Otherwise, with his son's character, he would never have raised an extramarital affair. It was also her carelessness that she didn't notice the little slut seducing her son. She promised Liang Shuang'er to become a concubine for her son in 2 years, but did not let her willingly lower herself and seduce the men. This matter is settled. Someone, send the crown prince back to his mansion, Wei Mingtao said coldly. It's already embarrassing for my son to make such a mistake. He still keeps pestering Meng Shu, which is shameless and shameless. He can't afford to lose this person. Father. Wei Qingyun was unwilling to step down like this. Sister Lu, we are all mothers who are solely concerned about our children. Naturally, we have to consider more than others. Although today is Qingyun's fault, he has also been calculated. I know you are currently angry and are determined to withdraw from marriage. Has Sister Lu ever thought about Shu's future? She has been engaged to our family Qingyun for more than 10 years, and has always been the daughter-in-law of our Wei family. Withdrawing on the day of our wedding always damages our daughter's family's reputation. Even if your British mansion is of high status, her marriage will become very difficult. Even if she can get married, she will definitely not be as good as our family Qingyun. Liang cleared her throat and said, if you can get the 2 children married, I can guarantee that in the future, I will treat Shu'er as my own daughter. As long as I and the Duke are together, I will not take a concubine for Qingyun. I will also deal with that little slut inside, and I will definitely not let her stain Shu'er's eyes. This is already the limit that Liang can achieve. She felt that her words were sincere. For the sake of her son, she is willing to put down her figure and try again. These descendants of aristocratic families in the capital, especially those like sons who want to inherit titles, almost no one does not take concubines. As long as Meng Shu swallows this breath and forgives her family Qingyun, she will receive full support from her parents-in-law in the future. This is a rare and good opportunity. To be honest, she is not satisfied with Meng Shu, the daughter-in-law. Although this girl is tall, she grew up in the barren land of Guiyun City, and there is a big gap between her and the young ladies from big families in Beijing. She asked and found out that Meng Shu Qin was just a beginner in chess, calligraphy, and painting. She knew nothing about needlework and had no virtues in her daughter's family. Instead, like her brothers, she enjoyed wielding knives and guns. Don't be fooled by her beautiful and imposing appearance, she's actually like a little kid who doesn't understand rules and doesn't have the gentleness of a daughter's family. I don't know how long it will take for such a daughter-in-law to be trained before she can integrate into the circles of these aristocratic families in the capital and manage the backyard of the Chengguo mansion. Besides, marrying a wife and a virtuous person, taking concubines and accepting women, Meng Shu is too beautiful and not the perfect choice for a legitimate wife. Being able to accept her as a mother-in-law is already considered kind. Liang had forgotten that it was because of her beauty that Wei Mingtao fell in love with her. Despite the old lady's obstruction, he married her and became his stepmother. I won't have to worry about Lady Cheng's marriage anymore. Her marriage will be a concern for me and Lord Guo. Lu Shi refused directly. She is annoyed when she sees this family now, only hating herself for being blind and not being able to see their true faces earlier. Fortunately, my daughter has not yet married Wei Qingyun, so there is still room for improvement. Upon hearing her words, Liang's face immediately turned cold and said, then let's withdraw from the marriage. Don't regret it in the future. Her family Qingyun and His Royal Highness the King of Wei are close friends and highly valued by His Royal Highness the King of Wei. The current emperor is a sickly child with a weak body, unable to please the concubines in the palace. He has no children and can only live for 3 to 5 years at most. His Royal Highness the King of Wei is the biological brother of the emperor's mother and compatriots. The Empress Dowager greatly dotes on her young son and will make him ascend to the throne in a few years. At that time, her family's Qingyun will definitely be able to hold the highest position as a minister. The martial artists of the Meng family have no understanding of the situation in the court and do not know how much her son is seen by others. She's just waiting to see this family regret it. Don't worry, Lady Cheng, Lu sneered and took her daughter's hand as she walked out. Wei Qingyun became a bit anxious and pushed away the guard pulling his arm, running after him. As she watched him come and grab her arm, Meng Shu turned around and dodged, instinctively lifting the hem of her skirt and kicking her over. Wei Qingyun was caught off guard and was kicked to the ground, leaving him completely bewildered. He has been practicing martial arts since childhood, and among the children of these aristocratic families in the capital, he rarely meets opponents. Today, he was kicked to the ground by a woman, which Meng Yanqing and his brothers had already endured to the limit. When they saw that Wei Qingyun dared to pester his sister, they rushed forward and started punching and kicking him. The Wei brothers were already feeling guilty and stood on the side watching, hesitant to come forward and help for a moment. Besides, among their brothers, only Wei Qingyun is the legitimate heir. The legitimate mother usually doesn't like these illegitimate sons. At this critical moment, it's better to avoid some of them. Stop. Liang was so anxious that she wanted to rush over to help her son, but was grabbed by Wei Mingtao. A man is a big man, and if he makes a mistake, he will bear the consequences. The stinky boy keeps pestering the girl and deserves to be beaten. It would be better for him to be beaten up, so that the anger of the Meng family can be relieved. He and Meng Huayan will still be good brothers who watch and help each other in the court, and they can still support each other as they used to, so as not to become enemies due to withdrawal. Wei Mingtao has a balance in his heart between the interests of his family and the suffering of his son. The Meng family could never have killed their son. Wei Mingtao's guess was correct. In just a moment, Meng Huayan asked Meng Yanqing and the others to stop. A group of unruly things, it's just a small matter, why bother? My Meng family's face has made you all embarrassed, go back to the mansion. Meng Huaiyan finished speaking and glared fiercely at Meng Yanqing and the others before leaving. Just as soon as he arrived outside the courtyard, Meng Huaiyan's face showed a smile. His 2 sons and nephews have been practicing martial arts since childhood and are physically strong. When they hit someone, they didn't seem to be of any importance. In just a moment, Wei Qingyun's nose and face were swollen and he couldn't get up. It really suits his heart. After returning to the mansion, he must reward them well. After returning to the Meng family, the elders took turns comforting Meng Shu, especially their grandmother Jiang. They were afraid that their granddaughter would be sad and upset, so they held Meng Shu in their arms and never let go. Don't worry, Shu'er. Grandma will definitely find you a satisfactory husband, who is definitely 100 times or 1,000 times better than Wei Qingyun. Meng Shu originally wanted to say that not getting married was actually quite good. She particularly missed the days when she disguised herself as a teenager in the border and went to the battlefield with her brothers to kill enemies. She also wants to protect her family and country like the men of the Meng family. However, Meng Shu also knew that just think about this kind of thing and never say it out loud, otherwise it would scare the elders in the family. As long as she wears this daughter's outfit, she must get married, otherwise it will burden her sisters. She doesn't care about herself. If her sisters can't get married because of this, she will feel uneasy. Chapter 6. Do you think he died too slowly? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Granddaughter listens to grandmother. Meng Shu said softly. Good child, if you hear some rumors these days, don't take them to heart. People in Beijing are used to watching others laugh and take pleasure in making fun of others. You can stay a little longer and find out. Don't worry about these people. Jiang knew what her granddaughter would face next. With her understanding of her granddaughter, she is sure to make it through and won't seek death or survival. But there are some things that need to be said. Shu'er is her flesh and blood, and Jiang doesn't want her to suffer any harm because of this. Grandma, rest assured, granddaughter remembers. Meng Shu nodded lightly. It's getting late, Shu'er should go back to take a shower, have dinner, and rest earlier. Her granddaughter was still wearing a luxurious wedding dress, and it was already a bit hot. She was wearing several layers inside and outside, not only hot but also heavy. Jiang felt very sorry for her granddaughter. As soon as Meng Shu came in to greet her, Jiang had already personally taken off the wedding auspicious crown that Meng Shu was wearing. That crown is made of pure gold, with many pearls and gemstones inlaid on top, making it particularly heavy. Grandmother also rested earlier, granddaughter is leaving. Meng Shu blessed herself and left with her maids. Returning to the Fanghua courtyard where she lived, Meng Shu changed her auspicious attire and was bathed by Su Yi and Bangxia. When she finished tidying up and came out of her ear room, Chushang and Qin Dai had already prepared their meals. Miss, this is specially sent by Madam, and it's all your favorite food. Chushang said while serving dishes. Send someone to keep an eye on Chengguo Mansion. Although today's incident was their fault, Chengguo Mansion's family tradition is not good, and the master's character is not good. I am worried that those people will pour dirty water on us. Meng Shu said calmly. 3 months ago, she returned to the capital to get married and brought back all the personnel trained in Guiyun City over the years. After all, she will stay in the capital for a long time. In order to make her life more comfortable, Meng Shu has also made some arrangements. Yes, miss. Qin Dai responded and quickly went. Among the 4 maids, Qin Dai had the highest martial arts skills and was responsible for coordinating with the people and horses raised by Meng Shu outside. This was the case in Guiyun City before, but everything remained the same after arriving in the capital. Meng Shu didn't rest after having dinner, she was waiting for news from Qin Dai. The foundation of the British government is in Guiyun City. Her father is in charge of the 100,000 Northwest Army, responsible for guarding the border and resisting the iron cavalry of the western Chang kingdom. On weekdays, it was her elder brother Meng Yanqing who stayed at the capital's Guogong mansion. This time, because she was going to get married, her father requested a decree to send her off, and the whole family returned to the capital. The men of their Meng family are dedicated to protecting their families and country, and their minds are focused on the battlefield. They are also upright and not as cunning as the aristocratic families in the capital. Of course, she needs to be cautious. The actions of the Wei family today greatly diminished Meng Shu's impression of these aristocratic families in the capital. Meanwhile, in the Taiqian Palace, Emperor Zhou Qilin was drinking medicine. Your Majesty, Dr. Jiang has adjusted the prescription. Today's medicine is not as bitter as before. I have tasted it. Before Wang Fuxing could finish speaking, Cui Jingyu's voice came from outside the dormitory. I hereby report to the Emperor that Aunt Jinchun has been ordered by the Empress Dowager to pay her respects. The Emperor remained silent and drank the medicine from the bowl in one gulp. Wang Fuxing served him and rinsed his mouth before allowing Cui Jingyu to welcome Jin Chun in. My servant pays respects to the Emperor. Jin Chun held a redwood box and knelt respectfully in front of the Emperor, saying softly, "This is a pill that was refined by the White Immortal Master 15 minutes ago. The Empress Dowager specially ordered my servant to bring it to the Emperor for him to take. My health is too poor, Empress Laomu has taken a lot of trouble." The Emperor coughed a few times and weakly reached out his hand. Wang Fuxing quickly took the wooden box, opened it, and presented the pill to the Emperor. The Emperor picked up the pill, took the water sent by Cui Jingyu, and took it down. After seeing this, Jin Chun breathed a sigh of relief in her heart and smiled, saying, "The Empress Dowager has searched for famous doctors and alchemists for the Emperor's health. This White Immortal Master is very powerful and definitely can cure the Emperor's illness. Well, go back and tell my mother that I will go to Xi'an Palace tomorrow to thank you," the Emperor said with a faint smile. Yes, Jin Chun didn't stay much and quickly left. The Emperor looked at her distant figure with a hint of coldness in his eyes. The mother really put in a lot of effort for his broken body. Did the Meng and Wei families withdraw their marriage? The Emperor sat in a chair, coughing and asking. "Your body, Your Majesty." Wang Fuxing was startled in his heart. Only when those unrelated people come, the Emperor will cough. Is this really sick today? It's not a big deal, the Emperor waved his hand. If I were to return to the Emperor, the Duke of England is a swift and decisive person. He risked the night to have someone return the dowry of the Wei family and withdraw from the marriage. Wang Fuxing said, glancing at the Emperor and seeing that his expression remained unchanged, he breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. Duke Qing felt guilty and insisted on not returning the dowry from the Duke of England, saying it was compensation for his withdrawal. Meng Huayan accepted it, the Emperor asked after a light cough. The Duke of England didn't want it, Wang Fuxing shook his head. The Emperor nodded lightly and said, Meng Huayan is very straightforward. He is different from those who are all around and only care about interests in the capital. I don't expect him to want it, but after all, I have some resentment towards them. Let's give more compensation to the girl from the Meng family in the future. This matter is of course the result of the Emperor's promotion of the situation. If it weren't for his people's efforts, the Meng family wouldn't have noticed that Wei Qingyun had gone to Green Willow Hutong, nor would they have investigated everything so quickly. Wei Qingyun is the little attendant of the King of Wei. If the two families were to marry smoothly, the Meng family might turn to the King of Wei. This is not the result that the Emperor wants. He is now in decline. If even the Meng family had voted for the King of Wei, his chances of winning would have become increasingly slim. If you want to rectify the situation, hope is slim. It's just that he had too much faith in his mother and younger brother at the time, and his body had already collapsed. He passed the throne to the younger brother of his fellow mother without any regrets. When he discovered the abnormality later, the overall situation would be determined, and now he can only do his best and obey fate. It's always bad for the girl's family to leave on the day of their wedding. If Meng Huayan has a satisfactory son-in-law in the future, I will marry them and give them a good reward, said the emperor. Your Majesty, that Wei Qingyun was not a good person. The withdrawal of this marriage will be beneficial and harmless to Miss Meng. When she gets through this period of time, things will turn out better. Wang Fusheng quickly said. Although the emperor sent someone to stir up this matter, is it the emperor who is wrong? That's not possible. But in the long run, withdrawing from the family actually benefits the Meng family. If Miss Meng knew the hidden truth behind it, she might even want to thank the emperor. The emperor nodded, stood up, and walked to the bedside. Just as he was about to undress, the voice of Cui Jingyu came from outside the dormitory. I hereby inform the emperor that Lu Jieyu has arrived and said that she has been ordered by the Empress Dowager to accompany her. The emperor smiled upon hearing the words, but the smile did not reach his eyes. First, delivering elixirs, then sending beauties. Does the mother find him dying too slowly? Chapter 7. A Group of Counselors. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Knowing that he had been poisoned and injured his foundation in the past, and his body was too weak, he needed to be nurtured with good medicine and could not please the concubines in the palace. In recent years, his mother has been constantly pushing people towards him. This is not only testing, but also hoping that he will become addicted to the gentle countryside and die faster. Which I did. He go blind a few years ago, thinking that his mother was solely concerned about him. In the past 2 years, although he has come to his senses, he has also uncovered the truth of the past. Whether it was his own broken body or the situation in North Korea, he secretly saved some of it. The Empress Dowager has been in control of the court for many years, and at that time, she was blind and had been delegating power. She thought to herself that if she were not here, the younger brother of her compatriots, the King of Wei, would succeed her and the Empress Dowager would enjoy her later years in peace. Little did they know that they were not born after their mother, and they never cared about him. Instead, they hoped for his early death. It's not easy for him to turn over now. Emperor. Wang Fusheng shouted cautiously. Let her come in, the emperor said lightly. Yes. Wang Fusheng responded and quickly went out to invite someone. After a moment, Lu Jieyu, dressed in a light and thin gauze robe, blushed and walked in. Her veil was sent by the Empress Dowager, who instructed her to put it on and come to serve in bed. If it were in the daytime, Lu Jieyu would have no face going out in such clothes. Emperor. Emperor. After bowing, Lu Jieyu stood up and looked at the emperor. Her beautiful eyes were full of shyness, mainly because of the noisy clothes. Before leaving, she looked in the mirror, which was faintly visible, and she felt ashamed of herself. She doesn't have much thoughts about the emperor, after all. Everyone in the palace knows that the emperor's body is weak and unable to please his concubines. But every once in a while, the Empress Dowager would have the concubines of the harem come to serve and sleep, and she even said that anyone who gave birth to a prince would be granted the title of empress. This has made them very worried. After all, a person cannot give birth to a son. The emperor is very handsome, and she also likes him very much. However, he is a useless person in the past. She still listened to the Empress Dowager and dared to seduce and tease the emperor. Now, there's no need to try again, it's useless. Don't say she's dressed like this now, even if she doesn't wear it, she doesn't have much reaction. Lu Jieyu looked at the emperor and saw that he had already laid down, so she blessed herself and said, I will go to the small bed outside to wait. Although she was a concubine, she worked as a palace maid while serving the emperor, serving tea and water. If it weren't for the orders of the Empress Dowager, none of them would have wanted to come. After all, staying in one's own palace not only provides a comfortable sleep, but also serves the palace maids, which is much better than coming here. Meng Shu, who had been tired for a whole day, was already dozing off in the British government. "Miss, please lie down and rest for a while. When Qingdai comes back, I will call you again," Su Yi quickly said. "No need, it's already late at night, and there should be a result." Meng Shu shook her head. "She is already very tired. If she were to lie down now, she would soon be able to fall asleep and be awakened from her sleep." The taste Su Yi was about to say something when the voice of the little maid Ingot came from outside. "Miss, Sister Qingdai is back." The little girl's voice had just fallen, the pearl curtain rang, and Qingdai had already entered. "Miss, the Wei family is really shameless. They took advantage of the night to spread the news that Miss grew up in Guiyun City at the border without any rules. They also said that Miss was crude and disrespectful, kicking Prince Wei to the ground with one foot. Such a behavior style is not like that of a noble daughter from a noble family." Before Meng Shu could speak, the several maids serving in the room had already exploded. "Their young lady is already very good, but Wei Qingyun doesn't care about anything and still pesters her. What's wrong with kicking him? They still find that foot too light." Fortunately, the Crown Prince and the second young master beat up Wei Qingyun, otherwise it would have been a huge loss. The customs at the border are fierce and there is less restraint on women, unlike in the capital. Those who like their daughters' families' softness, weakness, and timidity. They spread these rumors just to tell these aristocratic families in the capital that I, Meng Shu, am not a good match. These shameless and filthy people, who have done despicable things themselves, dare to say that our young lady is not the best in the world, and no one can match her. Su Ye's anxious eyes turned red. "Little girl." Meng Shu couldn't help but reach out and nod Su Ye's forehead, saying with a smile, "In your eyes, of course I'm a million good, but in the eyes of people in the capital, I'm afraid I'm just a complete shrew and not well liked. These people in the capital are so cliché and ignorant. They even think they are superior. In my opinion, they are not as good as us in Guiyun City." Banksia couldn't help but say. "Of course Guiyun City is good." Meng Shu's eyes softened as she mentioned the place where she grew up. Although the people of Guiyun City are strong and imposing, the people are also extremely kind, sincere, and simple. The Meng family has been guarding Guiyun City for 15 years. In recent years, the iron cavalry of the Western Chang Kingdom has never been able to break through the city of Guiyun. The people in the city are very grateful for the peace and prosperity of the Meng family. The Meng family is also very united, and Meng Shu has not been exposed to any conspiracies or schemes since childhood. It was only after returning to the capital that she began to take precautions. "Miss, in my opinion, it's better for you to find someone to marry in Guiyun City. Chao Gongzi is very kind, and he has always admired Mississippi." Before Qiushang could finish speaking, she saw Miss and Qiuye staring at her. It was only then that she realized she had made a mistake and quickly knelt down. "Qiu Sang really likes Chao Gongzi?" Meng Shu said with a smile on her face. "No, I don't." Qiushang's face turned pale. She really didn't like Prince Chao, she just felt angry when people in the capital thought Miss was not good. She remembered Prince Chao's previous intentions towards Miss, which made her slip of her tongue. "I made a slip of tongue, please punish me, Mississippi." Qiushang quickly kowtowed and apologized. "Before returning to the capital, I had already told you that this place is not like Guiyun City. There are many rules and restrictions. If your words were to be spread, others would think that I have an affair with Chao Weizhong, who is a woman of water and water. It should be noted that people's words are intimidating. Here. There are no swords and shadows, but it is also a battlefield." Meng Shu's tone was heavy. A few maids all knelt down upon hearing this. "Qingdai, tell our people to publicize the actions of the Wei family today, and make sure that the whole capital knows about it. Wei Qingyun has a deep affection for his little cousin Liang Shuanger, and for her, he will do everything to withdraw from marriage with me, Meng Shu. What is it? They won't marry someone other than their cousin, Meng Shu sneered. Those people from the Wei family secretly harmed her. If she doesn't return it, wouldn't it be a big loss? When she first went to the battlefield with her father and brothers 3 years ago, her father said that the Meng family would only face difficulties and never back down. Even if she is a woman, since she chooses to go to the battlefield, don't hesitate. She can still fight against 1,000 armies and horses. Just the Wei family, don't try to knock her down. Rumors and gossip are nothing to someone who has been to the battlefield and is accustomed to life and death. Do these people have the time to talk nonsense and dare to go to Guiyun City to fight against the Western Chang people? A group of cowards. Chapter 8. The head is big. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yes, miss. Qing Dai responded and quickly went to arrange. As for Qiushang, for your first offense today, you will be fined a month's salary. If there is a next one, you don't need to wait by my side. Meng Shu has always been clear about rewards and punishments. In Guiyun City, the Meng family has the final say. She is also very tolerant of the servant girls around her. After all, they are the people who have accompanied her to the battlefield. And they grew up with her since childhood. Of course, they have a good relationship. But this is the capital city, so be careful in everything. She has only been back for 3 months and has already learned how shameless these people are. Yes. Qiushang quickly nodded and warned herself in her heart that she couldn't speak recklessly, otherwise she would be punished and implicate the young lady, and then she really deserved to die. It's getting late, and you're all tired today. Let's go back and rest, and let the little maid come in to watch the night. Meng Shu waved her hand. Yes. Several maids responded and retreated together. As soon as she arrived outside, Suyi waved and sent a few second-class maids over. Inga and Yenwu should go on duty at night, take good care of the young lady, take care of the small stove, and prepare warm water. If the young lady is thirsty in the middle of the night, don't give her cold water to drink. The young lady is greedy and can't let her. Suyi felt a little uneasy and couldn't help but explain. The next morning, Meng Shu was practicing swordsmanship in the yard when she heard that Jin Chan, the big maid next to the old lady Jiang, had come over. Miss, please go to Songaju, madam. Meng Shu went back to the house and changed into a new dress. She also asked Suyi to help her comb her hair back into a bun, tidy it up, and then went to the Songhe residence. When she arrived, she realized that all the women in the mansion were sitting inside the house. Granddaughter pays her grandmother's respects. Meng Shu approached and bowed. After the old lady called out, she greeted several other elders. Meng Shu's father Meng Huayan has a total of 7 brothers. Now there are only 3 people left. Apart from Meng Huayan, there are also Meng Shu's 3rd uncle Meng Huayuan and 6th uncle Meng Huiliang. The other 4 uncles died on the battlefield when they were young, leaving no descendants behind. Uncle Heir actually married at the beginning, but because he had no children, Aunt Heir was only 19 years old when she was a widow. Grandma advised Aunt Heir to remarry. Uncle Meng Huayuan injured his leg when he went to the battlefield in his early years and returned to the capital. Now, he is the 4th rank Yifu middle general of the Jin Wuwei. Lu Shu Meng Huiliang was a commoner who did not serve as an official and managed the industries outside the government office. In addition to them, Meng Shu's elder brother Meng Yanqing also returned to the capital a few years ago. The rest of their family, including Meng Shu's mother, the Lu family, have been living in Guiyun City for these years. Mrs. Jiang, on the other hand, lived in the capital for 2 to 3 years and returned to Yuncheng for 2 to 3 years. She was strong and liked to move around more. Sure, the Wei family has sent someone to deliver something again. A box of silver notes, totaling 30,000 taels, and a box of precious stones, all of which are of high quality, are said to be compensation for you. Your father went to court, and your elder brother and his companions went to the yamen. There is no official in this mansion, so my grandmother asked you to come and discuss. The old lady took Meng Shu's hand and said softly. It's not that she can't make the decision about this matter, it's just that it's about Meng Shu and she needs to know. Call all the women in the family over, the old lady also has her own plans. This is not a small matter, everyone in the family has the right to know. If you speak up openly, everyone will feel relieved and will not be provoked by others. Especially the third and sixth daughter-in-law, who have been in the capital for many years, are more concerned about the rumors and gossip outside. If this causes unrest in the home, then it's not good. Granddaughter listens to her grandmother, but it's up to her grandmother to decide. Meng Shu looked obedient. If it were in Guiyun City, she would make the decision herself. As for now, of course we have to listen to the arrangements of our elders. Upon hearing this, the old lady looked at Meng Shu and quietly blinked her eyes. This little girl, after returning to the capital, has become more thoughtful than before. That's good. If one is too straightforward, it is easy to be calculated. According to my instructions, send the people away first. If the Wei family brings them back, then accept them. These aristocratic families in the capital, even if they fight fiercely in private, they must be polite on the surface, otherwise they will be taken advantage of by others. Moreover, her granddaughter has suffered such a great deal of injustice. What's wrong with demanding compensation? As expected. Mother, the Wei family has released a message to defame the reputation of our young lady. She is really despicable and wants to use this thing to calm us down. It's just a dream. Lu couldn't help but say. If according to her temperament, the Wei family should be excluded. However, the Lu family also knew that the power in the capital was intertwined. This was not Guiyun City, and even the emperor and empress dowager could not do as they pleased. They had to endure some things, let alone them. She just felt that her daughter had been wronged and couldn't swallow this breath. This Wei family is really shameless. Third Lady Tao couldn't help but frown. On the other hand, the sixth Lady Huang remained silent. Her husband was born from a commoner and did not serve as an official. Their position in the six houses was a bit awkward in the government office. When the Huang family came here to invite and share, they usually pretended to be deaf and mute, and did not speak much. Yenqing's daughter-in-law, go and send people away. The old man said humanely. Yes, Tian quickly stood up. She is the sister-in-law of Meng Shu, the wife of the crown prince in the mansion, and in charge of the Zhongfu. The old lady nodded lightly and was about to say something, but she heard the maid report that Meng Shu's grandmother, Lady Zhou, had arrived. Mrs. Lu has brought the two ladies from their mansion over. Hurry up and welcome me. The old man turned his head and said to the Lu family. Yes. Lu nodded and pulled Meng Shu away. Mrs. Lu wanted to come to Japan yesterday. The granddaughter was so bullied and even divorced, which made her very angry. If it weren't for the old man's persuasion and coaxing, and relying on her violent temper, I would have wanted to go to the Wei family and curse. The old man said to calm her down, he will trouble the Wei family in the court today. A woman's house is noisy, and we cannot let the Wei family suffer from physical injuries. But he can. She temporarily believed in the terrible old man at home, endured it all night, and got up early today to prepare. Their mansion of the Lu family was a bit far from the British government, and they arrived by carriage for about an hour. Mrs. Lu helped her slightly sore waist out of the carriage and saw her daughter and granddaughter coming over. Sure, Mrs. Lu quickly reached out her hand. Grandmother. Meng Shu quickly stepped forward and was about to bow when she was pulled into Mrs. Lu's arms. My poor child has been bullied like this, and grandmother's heart is breaking. The person who came to the Wei family to apologize today is the mother of Wei Qingyun, Liang. She had not yet seen Lady Meng and Lady Lu before being sent out of the mansion by the Crown Prince's wife, Lady Tian. Seeing Lady Lu crying at the door now, she felt her head grow big. Chapter 9. Ignorance and Superficiality. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. If she had known this, she shouldn't have come today. However, looking at Meng Shu's stunningly beautiful and noble demeanor, and then thinking about her son who was injured by the Meng family and still lying on the couch with a sad expression, Liang's heart rose with a wave of resentment. The withdrawal of the two families was not a big loss for the Meng family. It was just that Meng Shu was ridiculed a few times. They not only came to the Chengguo mansion to apologize, but also gave money and treasures. They were not well received, and the main leader of the mansion did not see her at all, so they drove her out. My son was not only injured by the Meng family, but also completely lost his reputation. Nowadays, there are rumors circulating throughout the capital that her son and the slut Liang Shuang'er have long been engaged in a promiscuous relationship, and that she is the only one who refuses to marry. This has infuriated Liang. Which family in the future is willing to marry their legitimate daughter to her family Qingyun? Unfortunately, that little bastard still hasn't given up on Meng Shu. The first thing he said when he woke up today was Meng Shu. It's so frustrating that he still cares about this dead girl at this point. At this moment, Liang Shi looked at Meng Shu with all kinds of displeasure. Miss Meng has an extremely good complexion and is full of energy, and has not been affected by the decision to withdraw. Liang said in a somewhat sinister tone. She regretted it just as she finished speaking. The Meng family is difficult to deal with, let alone an old lady named Lu in front of them. This old lady is notorious for being difficult to deal with in the capital city. Lord Lu is a third-rank imperial envoy, in charge of the imperial censorate and the head of the imperial secretariat. He is an elder of the three dynasties who served as an imperial envoy for more than 20 years. Not to mention the late emperor, even the late emperor of the late emperor has been strongly advised by him. He happened to be a lucky person. He collided with a pillar twice in the Golden Yuan Palace and died to admonish the emperor. Blood splattered on the spot, but he regained his life. The key is, his position as the imperial envoy has always been firmly held. The imperial censorate can not only advise the emperor, but also supervise the officials, and no one in the court is afraid. Lord Lu started to criticize people, citing classics and being extremely powerful. Even the Empress Dowager, who was in charge of the court, felt a headache and had to restrain herself. Under the influence of the old lady Lu, she has never lost in the women's circle in the capital. In addition, she is extremely protective of her shortcomings, and as time goes on, everyone knows to avoid it a bit to avoid offending the Lu family. This couple has gone crazy, even the Empress Dowager is afraid of them, let alone them. Liang had lingering palpitations and was about to leave, but was stopped by Mrs. Lu. My granddaughter is blessed. She quit her marriage without marrying that bastard. It's a great thing. She doesn't laugh. Is she going to cry? It's the wife of Chengguo. Your family is in a mess. As the head mother, the wife has time to visit the British government. It's a big heart. Mrs. Lu's face was full of smiles and she said, I really admire you. You. Liang was so angry at the words that she was about to say something, but her sleeve was gently pulled by Grandma He beside her. Madam, it's getting late. You still have to accompany the old lady to pay respects to the Buddha. It's time to go back, Grandma He said boldly. Madam, I'm sure I can't argue with Madam Lu. Instead of staying here and being laughed at, it's better to go back to the mansion earlier. As the saying goes, business cannot be done with benevolence and righteousness. Sure, our families are also considered close friends, but you, as a child, don't remember any old feelings at all. You have been too ruthless in your actions. Your kick yesterday made us Qingyun unable to get off the bed today. The Meng family is really a tiger girl. She can't deal with the old, can't she deal with the young? Liang pointed his spear directly at Meng Shu. Although you cannot be my daughter. In law, after all, you have been engaged to our family Qingyun for more than 10 years. My aunt has already treated you like a biological daughter, so I cannot help but remind you a few more words. Liang looked at Meng Shu with a serious heart and said, this daughter's family should be gentle and amiable, so that we can find a good husband's family in the future and live a peaceful and beautiful life. As a little girl from your family, you dance with knives and guns all day long, practicing martial arts. Not only does it make people laugh, but if you accidentally hurt yourself, our daughter is so beautiful. If her appearance is damaged, it will not be good. Empress Tian, the wife of Emperor Taizu of our dynasty, accompanied him in the early years to fight against the world and saved him from danger several times. Her martial arts were highly praised, and even Emperor Taizu said that daughters may not be inferior to men. Women in the world should take Empress Tian as a role model. Since the founding of the great Zhou dynasty, the status of women in our country has been much higher than that of the previous dynasty. It is also common for women to practice martial arts. My three-legged skills are far inferior to those of Empress Tian. Lady Qingyun thinks that women's martial arts practice will be laughed at. I would like to ask, who dares to violate the ancestral teachings set by Emperor Taizu and laugh at women's martial arts practice? Liang didn't understand these things. After listening to Meng Shu's words, her face immediately turned white. Emperor Taizu and Empress Tian once encouraged their daughter's family to step out of the boudoir, break the old customs, and become a woman who does not give up to men. I am still far from the expectations of the two saints, but after learning some kung fu, Lady Qingyun found me ridiculous, which is really frightening. Meng Shu pretended to be afraid and said. Although she was born bright and beautiful, now she pretends to be pitiful without any discord. You. Liang stared at Meng Shu, intending to refute, but for a moment she didn't know what to say. It has been over 200 years since the founding of the great Zhou dynasty. How could she know about the affairs of Emperor Taizu and Empress? Liang is also a lucky woman. After becoming the stepmother of Duke Cheng, she has been favored by her husband. Even if the old lady in their mansion doesn't like her, Duke Cheng still takes good care of her. In addition, her son is also very proud, and she is always held up wherever she goes. Being scolded to the point of being speechless like today is very rare. As for Crown Prince Wei, people say he is capable of both literature and martial arts. Last autumn, during a hunting expedition, he even won the top spot among the children of a noble family. The emperor personally appointed him as the fourth-rank attendant in the army and entrusted him with important responsibilities. As a close guard around the emperor, Crown Prince Wei's martial arts should be outstanding and select one from thousands of miles. Otherwise, how can he protect the emperor? He is a handsome 7-foot-tall man, but I, a weak woman, kicked him so hard that he couldn't stand it. It shows that he is just a name for nothing. The Liang family clearly showed some fear of their grandmother, so the persimmon deliberately stepped on her with a soft grip. Meng Shu certainly cannot let her succeed. On the battlefield, their Meng family fought for every inch of land. In theory, Meng Shu will not back down either. Upon hearing this, Liang's cold sweat was almost coming out. She just wanted to belittle Meng Shu and let the onlookers see that this was the legitimate daughter taught by the British government, who could even beat people. It was simply vulgar. She never thought of dragging her son into the water. You're a little girl from every family, so sharp and sharp. Liang quickly changed his tone, as if the elders were scolding the younger generation. Before she could finish speaking, Lu Shi sneered beside her, Lady Qing of the kingdom has such a big face that she has come to our British mansion to teach our Meng family daughter a lesson. Those who don't know think you are the head of our British mansion. Lu's words are a loss. Some people, who are ignorant and shallow, dare to speak up and harm others, and are not afraid of flashing their tongues. Today, I have seen it. What is shameless, said Mr. Lu with a smile on his face. Liang's face suddenly turned red, and he quickly hid his face and left amidst the whispers of everyone around him. Chapter 10. Supporting her. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Amit Ba Buddha, it is truly the blessing of the Buddha. Fortunately, our Shuer did not marry into the Chengguo mansion. This Chengguo duchess, who used to look gentle, did not expect such a way of acting. It is truly a matter of knowing one's face but not one's heart. Just as she entered the gate of the British mansion, Mrs. Lu couldn't help but sigh. Who said it's not right? Our Shuer has always been fortunate. Without this marriage, she will definitely get married better in the future. Lu Shi quickly answered. I used to worry that Shuer would be sad and upset, but now it seems that if this marriage doesn't end, it's really scary. Mrs. Lu tightly held Meng Shu's hand and said, Good child, that Wei Qingyun acted improperly and had a worrying character. He's not a good match. It's their Wei family who didn't treat you first. Don't dwell on this matter, think you're not good, and underestimate yourself. Our Shu is the best girl in the world. My grandmother praised me so much, which made others think that I was not an ordinary person, but the goddess from the 9 heavens. Meng Shu smiled. In my grandmother's heart, Shuer is the best, even a goddess can be considered. Mrs. Lu felt even more at ease when she saw that Meng Shu could still joke a few words. The group chatted and went to the Songhe residence where the old lady lived. Meng Shu knew that everyone was afraid that she would be sad and upset after leaving, so she held her up and comforted her. Actually, she doesn't care about this at all. When they arrived at Songhe residence, the 2 old ladies chatted a few words before mentioning the Wei family. In their hearts, Meng Shu was the best girl in the world. Wei Qingyun's actions not only disappointed Meng Shu, but also humiliated her, which was the most unbearable thing for them. It would be unacceptable for any elder to treat a child whom they hold in their palms and love in such a way. Without scolding Wei Qingyun harshly, it's hard to dispel the hatred in my heart. Shuer, her maternal grandfather, took her 2 uncles with him yesterday and carefully listed the evidence of the Wei family's crimes over the years. Today, he will heavily consult them and vent his anger on our Shuer family. Mrs. Lu became enthusiastic when she mentioned this matter. Her old man never fights unprepared battles. He not only took this matter seriously yesterday, but also worked late into the night with his 2 sons in the study. If he couldn't give the Wei family a profound lesson, he wouldn't have the face to come back to see her today. Mr. Lu gave birth to 3 sons and 2 daughters. Meng Shu's mother, Lu Shi, was her eldest daughter. She also had a little daughter who died young before she was raised. Mrs. Lu's love for her daughter far exceeds that of her 3 sons. Meng Shu's 3 uncles were also very skilled, and her eldest uncle Lu Jincheng was the governor of Zhangzhou, ranking 3rd in rank. My second uncle, Lu Jintong, is a senior official in the Ministry of Revenue. Uncle San is a 5th-rank imperial censor, and it is highly likely that he will inherit his father's legacy and become the next imperial envoy. Mr. Lu and his 2 sons were discussing in the study late at night yesterday, which shows how much he is concerned about this matter. It's not a problem for my in-laws to come forward, the old lady smiled. The 2 elderly people spoke while occasionally looking at Meng Shu. Seeing that she seemed quite happy, they breathed a sigh of relief in their hearts. At this moment, the servant in the mansion came to report that Lord Lu had heavily accused the Wei family of appointing favoritism to the then commander of the guards, Duke Chengguo. Most of the generals in the guards were from the Wei family. The generals of the Wei family excluded dissidents from the guard army, and the entire guard army was not like a royal army, but rather a private army of the Wei family. If this charge is proven, it will be a great crime of plagiarism and extermination of the family. Duke Wei Mingtao of Chengguo showed his loyalty in front of the Empress Dowager and the Emperor, and many ministers in the court spoke to him. In addition, Grandpa Lu did not provide evidence of the Wei family's rebellion. The Empress Dowager warned Wei Mingtao and fined him a year's salary to properly rectify the palace guards, and this matter was finally exposed. However, the situation did not end at this point. Lord Lu accused Wei Qingyun of being unethical and acting recklessly, acting as a close guard to the emperor and causing shame to the emperor and Manchu officials. Even with the protection of the king of Wei, the emperor still issued an order to dismiss Wei Qingyun and make him reflect on his past mistakes in seclusion. As for how long to think, the emperor never said it, so he stayed in the mansion all along. When can it be enabled? It's just an unknown number. Meng Shu saw that everyone looked beaming with joy after listening, and she also smiled along. She knew that her elders had always loved her very much, and when such a thing happened, her grandfather's temper naturally led to her taking the lead. I just didn't expect him to move so quickly. People in the capital say that my grandfather is someone who will seek revenge and will never stay until the next day. Meng Shu still admires this aspect of his elderly family. As a granddaughter, of course she has to learn something. Mrs. Lu is particularly happy. Seeing that Meng Shu is doing well, she is not worried anymore. She plans to return to the mansion early and personally cook a sumptuous meal to reward the old man. Meng Shu followed her mother, Lady Lu, and escorted the person to the entrance of the mansion. Sure, Chaoyin's birthday will be in a few days. She has been talking about you all the time. You will come here with your sisters in the mansion when the time comes, and a few little girls will get together and have a good time. The third Aunt Feng Shi took Meng Shu's hand and invited her to go to the Lu mansion in a few days to celebrate her birthday for her daughter Lu Chaoyin. Both parents and elders are still alive at home. Lu Chaoyin, a little girl who has not yet married, can't afford to have a big birthday party, but just invite some familiar little sisters to get together. Although Meng Shu grew up in Guiyun City, she has also followed her mother to visit her family in Beijing several times over the years, and is still very familiar with her maternal grandfather's family. My little cousin Lu Chaoyin came to the British mansion a few days ago to stay with Meng Shu. That girl is 12 years old this year, lively and lovely. Meng Shu likes her very much. Thank you very much, Aunt San. I have prepared my cousin's birthday gift, and I will definitely bring my younger sisters to celebrate her birthday together, Meng Shu said softly. Okay, Shu will come over earlier and talk to her grandmother, Mrs. Lu said on the side. Yes, Meng Shu quickly responded. It was difficult for everyone to talk too much at the entrance of the mansion, so the Lu family quickly got on the carriage and left. I knew your grandfather would vent this anger on your behalf. He's still as powerful as he was when he was young, Lu said of his father, his face full of pride and pride. Even though her father is old, his image in her heart is still tall. My father is still the one who protects them, towering like a mountain. Last time I went to the Lu family, I heard my grandfather say that he had already wanted to retire, but the emperor did not agree, Meng Shu smiled. Your grandfather's official position may not be the highest, but he served as an imperial censor for more than 20 years, responsible for supervising the officials. With him, it was a deterrent for many people. The court could save a lot of trouble. Over the years, he has impeached many corrupt officials, petitioned for the people's orders, and has a high reputation in the capital.